So if I may, I mean, thank you for calling that out, because that's what we were hoping to get to.
Yeah.
The step one, hard to build and revitalize an economy when you have such a crushing energy cost, both in terms of distribution. If Puerto Rico was an independent country, we wouldn't have any qualms at all about talking about things like privatization, right? And taking state-owned enterprises that underperform. Prepa, last I checked, contributed around $12 billion to the public debt burden. Anywhere else on the planet, we would talk to the World Bank and the IMF, and we would privatize the heck out of it overnight. And with it, you would figure out, of course, how to create an energy matrix that incorporated things that are a little bit more ubiquitous, and where the cost per kilowatt hour is level or more competitive than traditional fuel, right? And so you would incorporate solar, you would incorporate businesses that had generators. We worked on a project in Puerto Rico with one of our partner firms, Tropigas, to do cogeneration facilities, right? To take the commercial base, which we have a large commercial base on the island, and to put a cogeneration plant right next to them to smooth out the cost per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
Part of the challenge in doing that at scale is the regulatory environment. The grid and the authority doesn't want you taking commercial clients off the grid. That's a rule that stands in the way of creating an economically competitive island or environment. So things like that are easy to strike out of the stumbling blocks that stand in the way of rebuilding and building back better. Things like that can be removed readily. So I would privatize the public utility. I would incent and remove any restriction whatsoever to creating a distributed energy matrix that incorporates things like solar and a whole host of alternatives, including cogeneration, because it's an island. There is no energy panacea, and there is no centralized model that ought to work in an island like this one that simply relies on importing fuel. Because with or without the Jones Act, a hurricane this devastating would have still created a bottleneck on fuel. And so more renewables present would have meant more people could get back online and get their lights back on